What's up, all you beautiful division agents out there? I am Relentless XRG, and today I'm going to be your build doctor. So sit back, relax, unwind, and I hope you find this information very informative and it helps you out in your day-to-day division agent lives, whether it be in the Dark Zone or in the LZ. But if you happen to be new to the channel, or you're just enjoying the content, be sure to ground and pound that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to turn on post notifications, so that way you never miss an upload or a stream that goes live. All you have to do is reach up there and trigger that bell. But without further ado, let's hop into this discussion, shall we? So we've already went over Bloodsucker, Berserk, and of course Unbreakable. And I would say the top four would include those three, plus this other talent that would bring out the top four talents for chess piece, and also the most used. So one of those that we'll be going over today is Unstoppable Force. In the description, it states, Unstoppable Force. Killing an enemy grants 2% weapon damage for every 25,000 max armor. Requires 7 or more defensive Legos in order to have it unlocked and able to be used. So, the premise behind it is, depending on your armor pool, for every 25,000 armor, you get 2% weapon damage. So take your overall armor pool, in this case, just the filler pieces that I have on screen, I have 304k armor. So divide that by 25,000, and then multiply that by 2%, and you'll get the damage buff that you'll receive once you get a kill. And keep that in mind, you have to get a kill first in order to proc Unstoppable Force. So initially, going into a fight, whether it be with agents or NPCs, you're not getting anything until you get a kill. So keep that in mind. So what are some of the talents or some of the other talents or attributes that can go hand in hand and be in tandem with Unstoppable Force? Well, on your holster, you can get the likes of armor on a kill or health on a kill. In this case, I think that armor on kill would best serve this, so that way, once whoever you're battling, the damage that you're taking, you can kind of get some of that back by utilizing armor on kill. And it's not only found on your holster, but also on particular mods. So in your mods, if you scroll down, and also you can find some, as you can see, such as on that one, 3,000 armor on kill. And also that becomes, health on kill as well. So if you stack armor on kill, it'll work at the same exact time that Unstoppable Force procs. So once you get that kill, you get armor back in return, and then you can dish out even more damage without basically having to stop and heal yourself before you start unleashing your fury on whoever is in your sights next, whether it be other NPCs, bosses, or other players. So it kind of works hand in hand with that aspect. Alright, well, the only brand set that has talents that also go hand in hand with the Unstoppable Force is the 2-piece of Badger Tough. The 2-piece of Badger Tough talent gives you 15% armor on kill. So 15% of that armor, you can do the math, I'm not exactly no genius, but it's around 45,000. So if you add in that 15,000 from the holster, that's roughly 60,000. And then if you add in mods with the armor on kill, such as that one that you saw that just has 3,000 on it, and since it is using a Heliguard knee pads, you can have 2 of them. So let's say that's another 6,000. So we're almost at 70k armor with those alone. But wait, if you want to utilize certain things like that, let me just stroll over here to the new specialist tree of the Gunner. Because not only do you get the 15% from armor on kill, but if you're using the Gunner, one of its talent perks on its tree is kill grants 10% armor on kill. So, if you're utilizing the Gunner with this talent all the way up, I believe it starts at 5% for the first block, then 7, then 10. So that 15% has now turned into 25%. So 25% armor on kill. So roughly, that would be 75,000 armor just from that. Add another 15 from holster, that's 90. Plus, if you have any defensive mods, such as I have 2 on a Gila guard piece, so if you have one with Unstoppable Force on it, in place of this Bloodsucker that I have, we'll just say it's Unstoppable Force for the time purposes. And you can have 3,000 each on those. And if you're using Gila guard knee pads, it has 2 defensive mod slots, that's 4. And if you have 3,000 on kill on each one of those, then you can see how it's going. So that's 3, 6, 9, that's another 12,000. So all in all, counting the armor on kill on your holster, that's essentially 100k armor for a kill. So think about that. Unstoppable Force procs after a kill, and once it procs, you're getting, that additional damage, and what damage that you've received that's more or less depleted your armor, instead of having to retreat, pop a heal, and pop on an armor kit thereafter while you're in cover before you can start laying out that damage. Now you receive at least that 100k on armor, and that's just minimal just by going off the mediocre stats that I have. So that way you can then just immediately turn and aim your focus on your next target. But if you wanted to, you can also drop a chem hill at your feet, a fixer drone above you to help repair your armor along the same time. So that way when you get that 100k armor, it's going to make you, even more tankier because you're receiving armor, and then you just add kill after kill after kill receiving 100k armor, and just can keep proccing both simultaneously. So you proc Unstoppable Force once you get a kill, and then you use the extra damage to get your next kill, and you never have to go through an armor kit, essentially. And you'll have to play with it to get used to it, but that's just, one of the ways that you can pair Unstoppable Force with the likes of armor or health on a kill. And since Unstoppable Force is directly correlated with your armor, then why not also go with armor on a kill? Now, going to talents on weapons. Now, there are plenty, but, for the most part, I guess the ones that synergize with it best. And no, we're not talking about Ranger, but you can use Ranger. You can use the likes of Unhinged if you wanted to. You could not use Optimus unless you go below 5 offensive Legos. And here is another that works out really, really well. It is Preservation. Killing an enemy repairs 10% of your armor over 5 seconds. Headshot kills improve the repair. So let's just say, for instance, an example, if you are running that 25% armor on kill, well, then you can add on another 10% to that, which is, according to my armor pool, is roughly 30k. So with this one talent also on your weapon, you're getting 30k armor on top of that. So if you use this talent on your weapon and pair all those things together, now you're at 130k armor on kill. And if you want to use these for the likes of, say, PvE, then you can stack on and use the damage to elites over devastating. That's on your gloves. And then if you have a high roll on your mask, which is this one only has 30, but it goes all the way up, I believe, to like 52, 53% damage to elites on your mask. So you get the biggest chunk from your mask when it comes to damage to elites. And then if you have damage to elites on your gloves, and then also damage to elites on your knee pads, and then let's just say you put on another Fenris pair that have damage to elites on them, and then in turn you're getting 10% protection from elites, then you can essentially turn this into an AR immortal build, because you will never have to go through another armor kit unless you really, really have to in certain situations. And you can plow through content because you have tons of damage to elites. And with every NPC or player you kill, you're getting 130k armor on each kill. So within 2 kills, you basically almost replenished all of your armor if all your armor was depleted to begin with. So if you had no armor, you get 2 kills. That's 260k armor. Think about it. And if you're utilizing patience and doing this from cover, which is patience also works hand in hand with it, after being in cover for 5 seconds, armor repairs by 5% every second. So that is just one of the ways that you can synergize talents with essentially every single piece in the game. So when it comes to making a build, you find out what talent you want to use on your chess piece, and then you build around it. And you find talents that synergize not only with that talent, but also with your playstyle. But let's say you want to do a little bit more damage, and you don't want to use preservation. You can go with the likes of Ranger, which is you're increasing your damage every 5 meters that the target's away from you. But what definitely synergizes even more than Ranger or the preservation is close and personal. Why? Because it states in its description, close and personal, killing a target within 7 meters grants 50% weapon damage for 5 seconds. So again, we see the same thing, killing a target, and then you get that bonus. So let's say hypothetically here, you get a kill and you're using Unstoppable Force, and they're in with that 7 meters. Let's just say you're going with the LMG Unstoppable Force, and you're getting pushed, let's say either by a shotgun or an SMG. Of course you're not going to be foolish enough to try to ADS with an SMG or shotgun. So tactically thinking, you're going to utilize hipfire, and since you have all those rounds, then it puts you less at a disadvantage. So if you have close and personal on an LMG and they're up in your face, you kill them, and let's say their buddies are just coming out of the checkpoint and they're going to rush you too. Well, by the time they get there, you killed this guy. It procs Unstoppable Force that you were getting ridiculous damage from because of your armor pool, and depending on your armor pool will determine how much damage you get from that proc. And because you killed this guy, along with it, you procced close and personal. So for that next 5 seconds, you're getting an additional 50% weapon damage. So think about it. If they're rushing you, you're getting that extra damage from Unstoppable Force. You've just procced close and personal. They're running straight to you, so you initially just hop in cover and utilize that extra weapon handling for being in cover, and then you beam the living snot as they're coming towards you. And for 5 seconds, they're not going to last. They're going to run away or find cover as soon as they get hit with that first bullet. Because plus 50% weapon damage accompanied on an LMG, and you've procced Unstoppable Force. And since you do not need to put on an armor kit because you've just gotten 130k armor, and like I said, let's say you got a fixer drone in the air at the same time that's healing you, right after the first battle, then you're going to lay waste to whoever comes in your path next, provided that you can land those shots. So just keep that in mind. Build around, in this case, Unstoppable Force, and find things that work and go in tandem and synergizes with it, such as the likes of armor on kill. It works out really, really well. Close and personal, preservation on weaponry to help fortify that, patience to go along with that, and you can see where all the synergy comes from. So you're stacking armor repeatedly, and then you're using that defensive attribute, that armor pool, to be fed back into your, say, your chest, like a Super Saiyan, so to speak. You're using that anger, think of it as anger, and then you unleash it after you get a kill upon your next victim. So you've turned something defensive and then made it offensive. But just keep in mind, you got to get a kill first. So don't go out there and think you're God, like, but like, anyways. And there are other things you can synergize. I mean, there's a multitude of different masks. If you want to go, Unstoppable Force, spotter on the ropes, things of that nature. But there's different, ways of making builds. But I was just more or less giving you an example on how synergy works with certain talents. And you can find them with every single chess piece talent, like Unbreakable, Bloodsucker, all these things, compensated, clutch with berserk. I mean, just find the right ones. Don't just follow everybody else's path just because you've seen a video, but literally look for a talent that you want to utilize and then search the database, if you've never seen certain talents, and find ones that will help synergize with that to make that talent even more potent, such as the whole Berserk Strained Clutch debacle. And now we have Premeditated along with Unstoppable Force, and you can kind of stack on stack on stack, but don't always think of it as a offensive ability to see how much stronger you can get. But with Unstoppable Force, you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. So at the same time that you're getting that extra damage, you're also in turn strengthening your armor, so that way you can lay out more bullets and lay down more fire and utilize that proc that Unstoppable Force gives you. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know that there's tons of other things that we can go over that go work hand in hand with other things, but I just wanted to hit the main ones that synergize well. If you think of you get it after a kill, and what other things you can pair with it that you can receive at the same time after you get a kill. So I wanted to touch off on that things and those things like that first, and go through that, because that's showing a real synergy between talents and attributes. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for another installment, and let me know in the comment section below as far as what you guys want me to cover next. But thank you all for the love and support. We'll see you fudging later.